Welcome to the Rivals Racing League Season 53 Las Vegas Motor Speedway Track Guide. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I'm running the track, giving you some information on what lines, what grooves are the best to run, how the setup works, a little bit on the pit strategy and the qualifying side of things. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So first off, a bit of information about how the setup is going to drive. The setup is pretty balanced, if not a little on the tight side. That's mainly because the way the profile of the banking is off of turn 2 and 4, the car can tend to get pretty loose off of those corners, even if the car is just kind of moderately loose everywhere else. And so even if you put a decent amount of wear on that right front tire, the right rear is going to take quite a beating and is not going to want to stick off of these corners. So I'd recommend not trying to wear it out too badly, but you do want to try to not kill your right front as well. It's going to be a race in the day, and while Las Vegas doesn't have a ton of tire wear, it has enough for it to be something you've got to manage. So speaking of managing the tires, you probably only have to manage them for about 40 laps or so. For your amount of laps you can make it on gas, it's only, as you can see there, about 54-ish laps, a little more than that maybe. And so what that means is you're probably not going to make it on a one-stopper. It's going to have to be, unless you get a lot of caution laps during both stints, you're not going to make it on a one-stopper. So you really only are going to need to run it about 40 laps on average each run to get the most out of your tires. So you're not going to have to push them, too far into a run. So you can use them a little bit. You can afford to push for a few laps and kind of go hard a little earlier in the runs, especially if you want to make passes. Now the liners see me run right here. I'm being a little sloppy about it. But this is how you want to run the bottom. You want to take a wider entry to both corners and then kind of pinch off your exit. You can run a little wider off of 2 than you can off of 4. Turns 1 and 2, the car actually turns really well. 3 and 4, not so much. It can kind of tend to bind up in center and then want to snap loose on exit. So just, watch for that, pay attention to it.
32,
the middle lane is also viable, especially once the bottom starts kind of rubbering in. With a little more of that grip, you can enter about a lane wider than you would be for the inside lane and just kind of stay right up here on the middle. You can do this on both ends of the racetrack as well. I'd say it's a little more useful in 1 and 2, but you can run the middle in 3 and 4. It does work. Well, you'll probably notice the car being a little bit tighter through center than it was when I was running the bottom. And then you can also run the outside lane, which I'll go ahead and do here in just a second.
32,
where you want to enter a little bit off the wall for turn 1, let it slide up a bit, and then you can use a ton of throttle through center. Just make sure to start getting it turned back down the hill a little bit for corner exit. And then you want to follow a similar pattern down here where you enter a little bit off the wall, let it wash up in center, stay kind of close to the wall in center, and then make sure to arc back down a bit on exit so you don't clip that wall. That line could have been a little bit smoother, but you get the general idea of it.
32.88.
You can see here, car's starting to tighten up just a little bit, but it's also flipping the right rear a little bit more on exit. So the tires do, while they might not wear evenly in percentage-wise, they feel very much like they wear evenly, and that's because this track gets pretty slick in the daytime, and this will be a full day race, no transition into night, so it's going to have to be something you want to watch for all race long. Now let's start talking about those pit stops. So when you're going to make the pit stop, I would recommend braking right about when you start to see the left side or the left white line start to kind of peel off towards pit road. I would brake before you get there, but not like a whole lot before you get there. Kind of right there, like right about there before you start to see it, but you're not quite there at it. Now, something to mention about the brake bias is default on the setup, the brake bias is 53%. that way because while you might, I would definitely say you could get away with clicking your brake bias down for the race. The problem is going to be getting on the pit road. The car can already be a little bit slick on 53% brake bias. Any lower than that's going to really hurt your ability to attack the pit entry. So always make sure if you click it back, you're going to want to click it up to at least 53 when you're making that pit stop. I mean, you might even want to go even higher than that. So that's why I'm going to leave mine at 53%. Why the setup's at 53% is so that way you can click it down for the race and then click it higher for pit entry. But here we go. We're going to make our pit stop right here, 4 tires and fuel. Kind of bomb it in there really hard, and there you can see the pavement starts to move away. See, it got loose on me there. Still kind of rear steering a little bit, but we did manage to get it down to pit road speed. Now you might want to take your entry a little bit earlier than what I did on even older tires. So I was really cutting it close there, right on the limit of what'll get you a black flag. Let's make this pit stop here. Try not to miss my box. A little bit slow in, but that's all right. Gonna get our tires. Now when we roll out, I'm gonna make a couple quali laps here. Show you kind of what you want to be doing in qualifying.
Move it.
Alright, here we go. Watch out on this apron that it doesn't go around on you. You got a fair amount of grip to play with. You want to get a little bit of a downward arc, but you don't want to get too low. There we go. Alright, so let's start worrying about that quali lap. So for your warm-up, you want to run the wall around 3 and 4. Oh, as you can see there though, it got a little bit loose on me there. This car does like to do that sometimes on the outside lane in particular, as it can get really loose on you. Try to make or get set for a quali lap. I'd say this is probably a second lap track, but you never know. You can get a good lap on your first one, but I would say the second lap is where you're really going to want it. Digging through 1 and 2. 3 and 4, you want to run that top to stay out of the wall. Let this thing run high, wide, and handsome through 3 and 4. Want to take a little bit of an arc, getting to the start-finish line, build up as much straightaway speed as possible, then cut back to the bottom. And we're going to run the inside lane for our actual lap. Take a nice wide entry to 1 and 2, get this thing slammed down on the gas pedal. Missed the bottom a little bit there, but that's okay. We got a lot of throttle time on it. Flying down the back straightaway, we're going to bomb it into 3 and 4. Nice wide arc here. Gonna miss the bottom a little bit again, but that's okay. The general idea what we're going for here, and if we get to the start finish line, we're going to drop it all the way to the apron as low as we can get it.
31.
There we go, a 31.9, and I think you can get faster than that. I'd certainly imagine so. I messed up my corners a little bit, didn't quite get to the inside lane, but want to keep a lot of throttle in it if you can. And then check right here. These are my tires after that first run that I made. As you can see, the right front's noticeably hotter than the right rear. However, they wore about the same percent, even with as much as I was pushing the right front. So the car feels like it's on the right front for most of the track, but the right rear wears a deceptive amount. So you got to keep an eye on it, keep it under control. I don't want to, give anybody the wrong information, but from what I was feeling behind the wheel, the outside lane is a little bit looser than the bottom, and especially the middle. And when I was running the outside, it's noticeably looser, a lot more on that right rear. So if you like your car to be a little bit looser, then I'd recommend trying out that outside lane. As you can see there, just from running the outside for my outlap, and for my first quali lap attempt, I actually had them wearing the same percent. So just something to make note of. All right, that's going to do it for this Las Vegas track guide. I hope this was helpful for the race coming up soon. And see you guys in the next one.